Hi students, welcome back. Today we are going to see the other set of questions and we are solving the mock test from Abhyas series. Okay, so the next question is, so far we have solved the questions from 46 to 70 and today we are going to see the question number 71. The mole fraction of a solute in its 1 molar solutions, students please check this, this is 1 molal. Okay, we cannot find mole fraction of a 1 molar solution if its density is not given, so it is 1 molal. Okay, so the mole fraction of the solute we have to find. So 1 molal aqueous solution, that means what? 1 mole of the solute is present in 1 kg of water. Okay, 1 kg or 1000 grams of water. To find out the mole fraction of the solute, what is the formula, students? Number of moles of the solute divided by the total number of moles of the solute and moles of the solvent. And we know from here there is 1 mole of solute present. Okay, so it is what? 1 mole of solute, number of moles is equal to, so 1 plus number of moles of solvent. We need to find out the moles of solvent. How to find it? You see, the given weight is 1000 grams. Okay, so the number of moles of solvent is equal to weight divided by molecular weight. The given weight is 1000 grams and the molecular weight of water is 18 grams. So if you solve this, you will get 55.55 moles. Okay, so if you substitute it here, so 55.55, okay, if you solve this question, you will get 0.018. That is the mole fraction of the solute. The next question, an ideal solution contains 2 volatile liquids. Okay, so A and B, its pure pressure has been given, vapor pressure in pure state has been given as 100 torr and 200 torr respectively. Okay, so if the mixture contains 1 mole of A and 4 moles of B, then total vapor pressure of the distillate. Okay, they have asked for distillate. Okay, so before that I will tell you what is the distillate is, then I will tell you how to solve the problem. See students, if you have liquid, okay, which is volatile means what? Its vapor pressure is very high, so easily it can, okay, its vapor pressure will be very high, it can turn into vapor easily, so its vapor will be there. Okay, so these vapors, okay, if you condense, what is condense? If you cool it, if it's bring its vapor pressure down, then what happens? Again it will get liquefied, again it will turn into liquid. Okay, this is known as distillate. This is known as distillate. The vapor turning into liquid, this liquid part is known as distillate. So now how to solve the problem I will tell you. See, this is a vessel we have taken, okay, liquid. Okay, in this liquid we have mixed liquid A and B. Okay, liquid A and B we have mixed. Okay, so let's say its mole fraction is XA and its mole fraction is XB. Okay, then what happens? Since it's a volatile liquid, it will be in vapor form. Most of the molecules will be in vapor form. Here also we have A and B but in vapor form. Okay, these vapor when passed through a condenser, what happens? These are vapor. See, the molecules are very far apart. Okay, what happens? Again the molecules get closer to each other, it becomes liquefied. Okay, I have indicated through color. This liquid is not the same as this liquid. The vapor form is turned into liquid. Okay, so for that I used the color. So here also we have A plus B. Okay, now listen to me carefully. The mole fraction here also some of the molecules are there in vapor state. Here the mole fraction of the molecules we are going to represent it as Ya and Yb. Okay, so here this is the mole fraction of the molecules in the vapor state. Okay, students, now please listen to me carefully how to solve the problem. Students, see here I told you this is a volatile liquid and the most of the liquid, okay, there will be an equilibrium between the molecules in the vapor state and in the liquid state. Okay, so here there will be vapors and there will be a pressure, total pressure, which is referred as PT, and PT can be calculated derived from the summation of the partial pressure of molecule A and partial pressure of molecule B. Okay, this is the total pressure. Okay, so how to find the partial pressure? We know Raoult's law. Okay, we know Raoult's law. What he says? Okay, what he says, the partial pressure of the molecule A here, okay, will be proportional to the mole fraction of XA. Okay, and that proportionality constant is the partial pressure of A in its pure state. So it's a vapor pressure of A in its pure state. We should not say partial pressure, only when it is mixed we can say that. So it is equal to the vapor pressure in its pure state multiplied by its mole fraction. Okay, then the partial pressure of B will be equal to the vapor pressure of B in its pure state multiplied by its mole fraction. Okay students, so these two formulas we are going to use. Okay, then we are going to find out the mole fraction of the molecules in the vapor state. For this we are going to use the Dalton's, okay, Dalton's law of partial pressure. Dalton's law of partial pressure, this you would have learnt in your 11th standard. The partial pressure will be equal to the mole fraction, okay, in the vapor state into the total pressure. So Ya can be found out by, okay, partial pressure, okay, divided by the total pressure. Similarly, okay, Yb can be found out by partial pressure, okay, divided by the total pressure. So these are the formulas we are going to use. Okay, so I just gave an introduction. So let's see, these are the given data, students. Okay, so what I have did is I have found out the mole fraction of the molecule A and mole fraction of the molecule B. Okay, using these number of moles. Okay, now we are going to apply the Raoult's law to find out the partial pressure. Okay, so the partial pressure is equal to, so in the formula this is the vapor pressure in its pure state. Okay, 100 into that mole fraction of A, so which will give, okay, 20 torr. Okay, so here this will be what, 5 4s or 20, so this is what, 160 torr. So the total pressure, okay, the total pressure will be the summation of this, which is 180 torr. Okay, this is the total vapor pressure of this vapor. But you should not confuse this. They have asked the total pressure of the distillate. What is the distillate? See, I told you this vapor after condensing into the liquid, here also there will be some vapors, right? Here also there will be some vapors, and due to this vapor there will be a total pressure here. Due to this liquid you have to calculate this one and not this one. Okay, most of you will confuse this and you will give 180. That is not the correct answer. Okay, so you have found out, so follow me what I am doing. Then what we have to find out is mole fraction of this. Only the molecules present here has been liquefied, so we have to find out the mole fraction of this one, then only we can find out the total pressure here. Okay, so next what we are going to do is identify the gas which is readily absorbed by activate charcoal. Okay, see, these kind of absorption question you have to compare with the critical temperature, students. So what is critical temperature? The critical temperature, okay, what is a critical temperature? Temperature below, okay, below the gas can be liquefied, okay. Above this temperature, above this critical temperature, the gases will not be liquefied. Okay, so these are the temperature of the gases, okay, for the options given. See, for hydrogen it is minus 240 degrees Celsius. For nitrogen you see such a negative temperature. That means what, these hydrogen in gaseous state you have to bring it to such a cold temperature, then only the molecules can come closer and it will turn into liquid. So this is not easy. See the temperature, negative temperature for nitrogen it is negative temperature, oxygen negative temperature, so it is not easy to liquefy. But see, sulfur dioxide it is plus 157 degrees Celsius, easily it can be liquefied. And how it is related to absorption, I will tell you why. See, I'll tell you how. See, this is your adsorbent. Okay, see, the molecules in the gaseous state, okay, will be very far apart, if it has to get absorbed, the molecules has to come closer, then only it can absorb. Okay, so to come closer, it is like the gas is turning into liquid. Okay, that's why the absorption is directionally proportional to the critical temperature. Okay, students, so more the critical temperature, higher the more easily it can be liquefied, more easily it can be absorbed. Okay, so the option is sulfur dioxide. And similarly, sulfur dioxide, ammonia and water can be easily liquefied, and not your normal gases. And hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, helium has very low critical temperature, so easily they cannot be liquefied. Okay, the IUPAC name of the compound, you see there are how many functional groups are there. There is an aldehyde group, and there is a keto group, and there is an alkene group, and which one takes a higher priority? It is that alkene group. Okay, it is that aldehyde group. So what is the suffix name? It is al. Okay, so there is a double bond, so it is what? enal. Okay, so from where I have to give the numbers, I have to give priority to the aldehyde. So 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so where comes 3? So this is 3 keto, 2 methyl. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 carbon in the straight chain. Hex, there is a 4 in the fourth position, there is a double bond. Okay, 4 enal. Okay, so here 3 keto, 2 methyl, see, hex 4 enol. Okay, then the statement for adsorption, the del G, del H, del S all have negative values. The adsorption is an exothermic process in which randomness decreases due to force of attraction between adsorbent and adsorbate. So first we will check the validity. Okay, now just before we saw the adsorption, no, see, in adsorption it is an spontaneous process, so del G will be negative, and adsorption are always exothermic, so del H is negative. Del S is negative because the randomness decreases. Entropy is a measure of randomness. Here in gaseous molecules, the randomness is more, but I told you during adsorption the molecules come closer and it get adsorbed, so it cannot be, the randomness decreases, so the entropy is negative. So the statement first is correct. Adsorption is an exothermic process in which randomness decreases due to force of attraction between the adsorbent and the adsorbate. Yes, both are true. So the statement 1 is true, and statement 2 is also true, and statement 2 is a correct explanation of statement 1. Okay, so the option is 1. So which of the following is considered to be an anti-cancer species, students? So this is what? Cisplatin. Okay, so this is the option, so please remember this. Okay, this is an anti-cancer, this is used as an anti-cancer drug. So here the energy of an electron in first Bohr's orbit of hydrogen atom is minus 13.6 electron volt. The energy value of electron in the first excited state of lithium 2+. See, the Bohr's orbit, Bohr's model is very much valid for the one electron system. Okay, so see, if you have, see, this is various energy levels where this is n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, and n is equal to 3. Okay, the first energy level is given by for any energy level the value is given by, how can you calculate? So Z squared divided by n squared. Okay, for hydrogen the Z value is equal to 1 and it is in the first level. Okay, n value is equal to 1. So while substituting, the energy came out to be what? Minus 13.6 electron volt. Okay, so for lithium we know the Z value is 3 and the N value, it is lithium 2+ ion, so the N value is also 1. We have only 1 electron. Okay, so here the energy value, but what they have asked, the energy value of the first excited state. What is the first excited state, students? So this is your electron here, and this is lithium 2 plus, since it has only one electron. The first excited state is the electron jumps to the next energy level. Now the n value has become 2. Okay, so to calculate this one, so substitute in this formula. So minus 13.6, z value is equal to 3 squared, n squared is equal to 2 squared. Okay, the first energy level. If you solve this, you will get minus 30.6 electron volt. So this is the answer. Okay, so what is the second excited state level if they ask? So this is the second excited state, n is equal to 3. Like that you have to solve. So the next question, the ratio among us the most probable velocity, mean velocity and root mean square velocity. Okay, you know this is a very every time they will ask. You can most probable velocity is root 2 RT by m. Okay, this is what 8 RT by pi m. Okay, and root mean square velocity is root of 3 RT by m. So everything, the common, everything get cancelled out. So this is the ratio. Okay, so which of the following has the lowest boiling point? See, listen students, paranitro, metanitro, orthonitro and phenol. Okay, and substitute phenol. Here there is, I have discussed this already, there is an intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, and here also what? Intermolecular hydrogen bonding, and here intra, within the molecule, and here also intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Where whenever there is intermolecular hydrogen bonding, there will be a network. There will be a network of molecules whereby each molecule will be connected to another molecule. It forms a huge network. Okay, for all the intermolecular. So to boil them, we need to break all the interactions and to boil them. So for that, higher temperature is required. So the boiling point increases eventually. Okay, so here when it comes to intra, the molecule, okay, will not associate with other molecule, no network at all. They already remain as it is, only van der Waals force will be there. Okay, there is no association of molecules, only a weak van der Waals force. So it is will be very volatile, and it requires only lower temperature to boil. So the answer is what? Orthonitrophenol. So look for the hydrogen bonding kind of intra or inter. Okay, that will solve the purpose. So the next question, the process of separation of racemic modification into D and L enantiomers is called resolution. Okay students, I will meet you in the next video with the other set of questions, solving the remaining questions. Okay, thanks for watching.